Hey, Woke Rockstars, welcome back to Anugraha Grace Journey. I'm Anugraha, and I'm helping you awaken and realign with more grace and ease back to your true nature, which is love. Okay, so today I'm being guided to point toward following our inner guidance. I want to give some feelings, some feelers around what that feels like to follow our inner guidance. I'm going to, let's talk about what the inner guidance actually is and how we can benefit from following it. All right. So before we begin, I'd like to just ground ourselves. Let's just take 3 nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Just become present. Understand that there's nothing to do but this right here, right now. So, what does it mean to follow our inner guidance? I think the first thing that is important to understand is that we are multi-dimensional beings. We are spiritual beings experiencing ourselves in a physical dimension. And so our physical body is the experiencer. And our spiritual nature is the parent. So if we can understand that the spiritual nature is the parent, the physical nature is the child. And when we begin to awaken to our true nature, love, we begin to move beyond duality into oneness, beyond just the physical and spiritual, into merging the two, where the parent begins to guide the child. And when I talk about the parent, I usually refer to the parent as the higher self, the spiritual portion of us, the child as the ego self, the physical, tangible portion of us, the portion of us that, if you think about a kid, wants what it wants. Okay, we want what we want, all right, without fully understanding the results of getting what we think we want. The spiritual portion of us is all-knowing. It's experienced this, it knows everything. It's actually creating it for you to experience. Okay? It is you. It is you. So so we're talking about the ego and the higher self. And I remember early on in my journey, I kind of wanted to get rid of the ego. But it's not about that. It's about merging the two and allowing the spirit side of us, the higher self, the parent, to nurture, because this is what a parent does, to nurture, to counsel, to guide, to lead, to protect. And when we begin to merge the two, the ego, the lower parts of ourself, which I also like to call the inner child, the experiencer, the lower self, because it doesn't understand the spiritual realm, doesn't understand the workings of the spiritual. It has these wants. It has, it feels guilt. It feels shameful. Like a kid who like a child who was punished for not knowing any better. Okay, it feels guilt. It feels shame. It is critical. It likes to judge and compare things. It feels, a lot of times it feels unworthy, depending on what we have experienced in our physical reality. Our lower selves, the inner child, has these wounds, okay? Feels like a victim. But if the child is being led by a parent, a trustworthy parent, a part of you that loves you and knows everything there is to know about you, then what the inner child is experiencing is really not real at all. And if it would just rely and listen to the loving parent, it would feel a lot safer. It will have a lot more fun. Right? So how do we begin to listen to our spiritual self, our higher self, our parent who loves us unconditionally? We have to be willing to accept being the child. We have to be willing to accept our physical form and what it feels. Because as we begin to actually be okay with feeling and be okay with our thoughts, just allowing them, not judging them, not criticizing them. Remember, that's a child's way. When we allow the parent to begin to talk to the child, it's okay. You're doing a good job. The higher self, the spiritual self, is everything that it speaks is empowering. It comes from love. It comes from compassion. It comes from grace and mercy. And this is where your inner guidance comes from. Your inner guidance isn't going to tell you to do anything that will hurt you. It's not going to lead you into deliberately hurting anyone else, because it's all loving. It's all compassionate. It's unconditional in its love for you. It understands that anything that you do to hurt on the outside is hurting you inside. And it comes from pain. It comes from pain. Our spiritual self understands this. I say this to say, when we are presented with a choice that we may be at a point where we really don't understand which direction to go in. Should I take this job? Should I leave this relationship? Should I entertain this group of people and get involved with this? When we're presented choices like that, if we're operating from the inner child, we're going to make choices that come from fear, that come from victimhood, that come from feeling guilty, feeling shameful, feeling disgraceful, feeling critical, feeling judged. But when we sit in those energies, when we allow ourselves, before we make a choice, to sit and feel what's coming up, what if I'm to take this path, what will it make me feel like? What do I feel like in choosing this path? Do I feel like I'm going to feel like a victim? Am I going to feel judged? Does it make me feel limited? Or is this a path that feels expansive? Do I feel like I can grow here? Do I feel as though there's love, there's peace? That is the path of our higher guidance. All the time, that's the path of our higher guidance. Is this joy? And is there going to be joy in this? Is there going to be comparing? Am I going to feel not enough? We have a choice. We always have a choice. And many times we find ourselves where we don't become present before making a choice. We don't become present. So we wind up making a choice that causes more harm than good. And I'm speaking from experience. So that's what I have for today. And it's so funny because, all right, let's talk about the cards. The first card I pulled was the 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is prosperity and riches. And all good things come from our inner guidance. My next card is the blessing of, and this is from this 10 of Pentacles is from the Robin Wood Tarot. We have the blessing of good fortune. And it says, rich and rewarding experiences bring you increased spiritual awareness at this time. Good fortune flows to you as your third eye opens, okay? You are inspired, fully, totally at peace. Life is a beautiful tapestry woven in threads of love. It's beautiful, right? And that is from my Namaste deck. And finally, trust. Trust. This is from the Life Purpose Oracle card deck. Trust. We have to trust. We have to be trusting in order to listen to our parents. And when we do, there are blessings of good fortune and riches and prosperity. I love you so much.